Hey y'all! Welcome again. Welcome. Hey Antonia! Welcome. So what are we talking about today? Stressed out summer. How many of y'all feeling it? A few? Okay, so before we get started, little plug. I am Desyree Dixon, the trauma transformer, the owner of Bolton Therapy and Wellness here in Baltimore. And I love doing these. I love having these conversations with y'all about the topics that are trending, that are showing up for my clients. I figure if they're showing up for my clients, they're probably showing up for y'all too. So let's get started. So today's topic, stressed out summer, right? Back in April and May, a lot of us were having a lot of conversations about what the summer was going to be like, all this anticipation of the summer. And as I heard them talking, them being my clients, I said, man, this anticipation sounds great. It sounded like Moses talking about the promised land, okay? And so a lot of things they were saying was like, all right, Desi, if I can get through this, if I can get through that, if I can just make it to the summer, and then fill in the blanks. They're going to be happier. They're going to get the exercise on, do some traveling, have some fun. They're going to send the kids away to camp, get some downtime. Now, some of those were me. Yeah, those people were talking. Some of those were me. Full disclosure. But a lot of them were clients too, sharing the same things, right? So I think the summertime for most people was supposed to be a reset of sort, right? Back around Memorial Day, it was like crossing this magic line. The start of the summer, a lot more fun, less stress. And then I noticed as we got into June, and now we're at the end of July, that the summer isn't shaping up in the way that a lot of people hoped, right? So why is that? Why are folks feeling stressed out? What's going on? All right. I'll just name it, the elephant in the room, COVID. We're still very much in the midst of it, right? The Delta variant, now the Lambda variant. I can't keep up. But remember what I said last time. The important thing is that we start to find a new normal, okay? New normal. So as I'm talking today, one of the things I love is all of the comments and questions that pop up in the chat. So I'm gonna ask y'all to really engage. So first question, since a month ago when we talked, how many of y'all that were here last time, how many have been able to find that new normal? Or at least started thinking about it? How many folks? Just pop some thumbs up and yeses in the chat, right? I'm just curious. So let's talk a little bit about the kids now, right? They also hoped that the summer was going to be great. They were looking forward to going back outside. Yes. They were looking forward to going back outside, doing some of those outdoor activities, right? And at the same time, in school, in-person school sessions are going to be starting up. And many kids are excited about that. But even though the kids are out of schools, us adults, we still have to keep working. And work is very busy, right? There's talk of going back in the office. And a lot of the clients that I'm talking to are not as excited about that. And some clients never left the office. So that feeling of stress is there. This magic line that we were supposed to cross on Memorial Day and we're supposed to just feel good, for most people, it's not happening. If you made travel plans, travel is stressful for a lot of folks, a lot of flight delays, a lot of crowds, right? But in general, outside of this being a very unusual summer by a lot of standards, right? In general, summertime stress is a real thing. right? I want y'all to understand that summertime stress is a real thing. We talk a lot about the winter blues, but many people don't understand that this anxiety that comes up for folks, generally chronic anxiety, it can get really exacerbated in the summer. A lot moodier, a lot on edge, a lot of sadness, a lot of depression, right? Feeling jittery and palpitations, panic attacks, some of my clients are talking about, insomnia, struggle sleeping, dreading the vacations and the getaways, worrying and obsessing way more than normal. So seasonal affective disorder doesn't just happen in the wintertime, okay? Summer is hard for a lot of people. A lot of folks have anxiety. Why? Why is that? Change of routine, a lack of structure, a lot of expectations around traveling. Going to new places and doing things can still be hard, right? And I think given what we were just coming out of, a lot of folks were like, well, this is how I got to celebrate, right? I got to go to Bali, or I got to go to, Aruba, Turks and Caicos, because I got to show that I'm back from COVID. Get some pictures for the gram, whatever, or just get away and just feel alive again, right? So there's a lot of pressure to have fun or go on vacation. And everybody's asking, what are you doing? Where are you going? With this expectation that, yeah, you should be doing things. I found myself doing that with clients and I had to stop. So where are you going on vacation this summer? What are you doing? And I would see the look on their face like, I wasn't actually planning anything, but now that you mention it, should I be going somewhere, right? But what if you're a little down? What if you're a little depressed? Depression doesn't just go away because it's summertime, right? Social activities or the expectation of having fun can be really, really hard for introverted people, people who feel alone, or people who just have anxiety, right? And the heat itself can cause symptoms that mimic anxiety, right? For a lot of folks. How do we get through all that? How do we get through that? Well, I got some tips. All right, you ready? I got quite a few of them. So sit tight. First off, give yourself some structure if you need to. Absolutely give yourself the structure, right? Plan things and do the things in the same way that you normally would. The unstructured sense of summer can be anxiety ridden when you don't have the routine of the kids getting up and they're going there and you guys are going here and there and everywhere. Now you've got to figure it out. That can create chaos and anxiety. So make sure, as much as possible, give yourself some structure. Schedule some downtime for the things that give you joy. Make sure you do that. Now, that might sound counter to giving yourself the structure. But when I say downtime, I mean short downtime, right? I was on vacation with friends late spring, and I looked forward to that time with them so much. But what I realized is even during that time that we were together, I still needed 30 minutes here or there of just time to myself, gathering my thoughts. The heat had drained me most of the time, right? We were in Jamaica. And so that was important. So as much fun as I was having with them, I still needed that time to myself to just recharge the battery. Okay? So make sure you do that. Don't follow other people's expectations of what your summer should look like. If you don't want to travel or engage in certain activities, don't feel the pressure to do it, right? Find a gracious way to bow out of it, okay? Yes, COVID gave us all a reason to not have to socialize before, and a lot of folks are feeling like they don't have that anymore, but it's okay. It's okay to say no. It's okay not to feel obligated, okay, to show up and do things, all right? Get some support. Get some help in the areas that you need it, with the household chores, with the kids, with just creating time with friends, or even find support groups with interests that you can get together with some other folks and just have that time to yourself. All right. Now, if you decide to travel, make sure you plan ahead as much as possible. All right. Make sure you plan ahead because it's a little chaotic right now. All right. Try to eliminate as many surprises as possible. That'll make the time way more enjoyable. All right. If it's a big trip and it's going far away, seems too much, then just plan a staycation. Plan something closer to home. If, like I said, going to Bali seems too stressful and you just need to do it to sound cool, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the effort, right? Because you're just not going to have a good time. If you're traveling with a group of people, whether it's friends or family or just folks that decided to get together to take a trip somewhere, that can be very, very stressful, extremely. So make sure you plan some alone time for yourself. All right. I needed it. All of us need it. Okay. If you know that traveling in general makes you anxious, acknowledge that and plan ahead with some coping strategies. When I say coping strategies, like what? Making sure you schedule time to do some meditation, some time to get a run in if you need, some time to just listen to some music. Whatever that coping strategy is, build it into the schedules. All right? Now, a lot of people don't do well in hot weathers. The physical challenges of summer is a lot for some people. Like, I know I have a family member who has this autoimmune issue called cold urticaria. But I also know someone who has the opposite, which is the warm or hot urticaria, which basically means when it gets really, really hot, that person's body goes into like, woof, it's just way too much, right? So it's important during this time to make sure, and the temperatures outside, y'all know they are ridiculous. Hey, Darrell, ridiculous temperatures right now all around the globe. So make sure you're keeping hydrated. Make sure you're keeping your body cool, wearing loose clothes that's made from cotton. I know these things sound obvious, but plan ahead, right? Continue to plan ahead, and it will just make the summer just way more enjoyable, right? I know a lot of us, we love our fashion. We love wearing, and we haven't been able to go out and wear the things we wanted in a while. So it feels like, oh, I just want to have that look. But plan ahead. Make sure you're staying cool. It will be a tremendous help to your mental health. All right? A lot of water, because dehydration is a big trigger for that feeling of anxiety. Okay? Stay out of the kitchen, y'all. Stay out of the kitchen. Summertime is a time for whipping up casseroles and those quick meals, like making some things that's 10, 20, 30 minutes. We don't need to do the big, heavy cooking like we do all year round. Salads and lighter meals. That's the way to go. Reduces the stress. Trust me. All right? Making sure you're doing things like, seems very obvious, spritzing yourself periodically, just to keep cool. You're outside, you're enjoying activities, just make sure you're cool, right? Keeping the windows closed and making sure that the temperature indoors is comfortable for you. You may not even realize how much that's increasing your sense of like dread, right? Just not having the right temperature. And just avoid going outside in the heat altogether, unless you absolutely have to. Between 10 and 3. Stay indoors. All right? That's when the sun is the hottest. Just stay out of it. Now, I'm from Jamaica, so we're all about going barefoot, right? So listen, if possible, kick your shoes off if it makes sense, if it's safe, and just being comfortable wherever you're at, right? And when away from home, wear your hat, keep your fan, and keep your water, okay? Making sure you're doing the things to stay cool. Those are all the things that will help to keep you just feeling way less stressed out. All right. Now I want to hear from some of y'all. What are some things that y'all are noticing about the summer? Right? What are some of the things that y'all are noticing that's happening or not happening for y'all this summer? Go ahead and just jump in the chat and let me know. What are some things going on? Come on, y'all. All right. Social anxiety when going out. That's a very common one. Social anxiety is real, right? Social anxiety can include this feeling of, okay, being in the house too long. On the flip side, I'm anxious about going out, but I'm tired of being indoors. So how do you find that balance? Just acknowledging that this feeling of anxiety is real. Maybe what I would suggest, Chloe, maybe try meeting in smaller groups, right? Recently, my neighbors we have an annual block party every year. And I noticed, I was excited about it. But when I went out there and I saw all the crowds of people, I was like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of people. And so there was this mixture, kind of the thing that you're talking about, Chloe, this excitement about being outside, but there was just like, whoa, that's a lot of people. But I was still able to just enjoy it, just standing on the periphery, listening to the music, jamming. I had a good time, right? But I did notice, I could feel it in my body that I wasn't ready to just jump into the crowd. So acknowledge it. Acknowledge that we're still getting back there. We're still trying to, get ourselves back to this feeling of whatever this new normal is going to look like. Acknowledging it, right? And creating, maybe starting small, creating small parties, small gatherings, and work your way back up to, the bigger parties, or even going to the airport if that feels stressful and overwhelming, right? So just think about those things. What else? What else y'all are noticing? Tell me about it. What else is showing up for y'all this summer? One of the things I was thinking about as I was preparing for today is one of the topics that one of my clients and I were talking about. And there's this feeling, it just goes back to the feeling of, I can't say enough about the obligation to spend time with loved ones, or to spend time with friends, especially after being cooped up for a year and a half, right? Acknowledge that there's a lot of anxiety around doing so. And I'm going to tell you guys the same thing I told my client. Be selective. It's okay not to rush out and want to hang out and spend time with everybody just because, right? Again, we're creating that new normal. It's important. So what it may mean is being selective about who we want to spend our time with. Maybe it's not all the friends. Maybe during this downtime that we had an opportunity to evaluate and say, you know what? Spending time with so-and-so is a little bit draining. Spending time with XYZ is a bit too much, right? You had time to evaluate that. So now you can be more intentional about who you're spending that time with. Be aware of who in your circle brings you joy and who in that circle feels draining. And be intentional about managing your time between them, right? So Rhonda says, my body is not what it was. Yes, I know that feeling. As I'm preparing for trips, it's becoming painfully obvious that it's not. All right, I hear you. And so that can look like this feeling of around self-image. I think that's what Rhonda's talking about. This feeling of like, oh man, I put on some COVID weight, or, I wasn't working out the way I normally do. And so the muscle tone is not quite as it was, right? Here's the thing. And this is for Rhonda and for all y'all out there. Everybody been in quarantine. I saw a few folks, bless their heart, running around in my neighborhood over this time, bless their heart that they had the diligence and the discipline to be out there doing that. But most folks were inside as instructed, staying out of this, whatever we had going on in these streets. Okay. So what I'm saying is we all are in the same place, right? It's going to take a little time for us to get back to a place where we're feeling comfortable with our bodies. And I can tell you, when I was on the beach in Jamaica in April, everybody there. I mean, yeah, you know, you have those folks that they're always going to look great and be fit and all that. But most folks were just happy just to be out, right? A lot of people were not even paying attention to what folks look like as we normally would. They were just happy to be out and about, celebrating, having a good time. All right. So I say, yes, you know, acknowledge that the change has happened and just take it one day at a time. And you'll get back there. We all will. We all will. Just get out there, you know, be mindful of the diet and the exercise, and we'll get back to where we need to. But the most important thing was celebrating that we made it through this tough time, because a lot of us had friends and family who didn't, right? And that's the most important thing. Think of it literally as a celebration. Literally as a celebration. All right. Anything else? Any other questions? Come on, y'all. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Y'all a little shy tonight. Any questions and any comments about feeling stressed out? I'm here to answer all of them. I'm scrolling through the chat here. All right, y'all a little shy tonight. Y'all a little shy. Well, hopefully y'all took some notes and y'all got some really, really great tips on how to get through this time. And just remember, listen, we have less than a month. I know friends who live in other states, they have kids going back to school next month. So for many folks, there isn't that much time left, right, to enjoy and celebrate. So use it wisely. Don't waste it, y'all, worrying about stuff that we have no business worrying about, right? So last but not least, I'm going to share with you an article that I found. I thought this was great, right? Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself about not wanting to go out, about feeling anxious, about what your bodies look like right now. That's just going to make things worse, okay? A lot of folks may be out having fun, having a good time, right? Having a great time, but listening. They're mingling and having fun at the barbecue, and that's okay. But your mental health is really, really important. So we need to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, and that includes talking to ourselves kindly and being patient, right? We are all works in progress, all of us, right? And as we say at the forum, we're just trying to move things forward, okay? So practice positive thinking on a daily basis, right? In acknowledging the ways that we're changing, but understanding that a lot of this other change will take time. Try as hard as you can to stop comparing yourself to others. Loving and accepting ourselves for who we are is, in honor of our girl Whitney, the greatest love of all. And that's for real. The greatest love is just loving ourselves and being able to live our lives truly, authentically, right? Loving the body we're in, loving all of it, all the parts of ourselves, even the ones that we don't think that highly of. right? We all have good and bad qualities as individuals, right? But simply focus on being the best versions of ourselves and working towards that every day, right? That is all that we can do while we're here. All right. One more question. Rhonda said she spent a lot of money in quarantine and feeling okay. Yep, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Because, a lot of us were home and it was a lot easier to click a button, right? And just have that stuff delivered than it would take getting in the car and driving to the store and getting things. So, yeah, we might have overspent a little bit. But again, being kind and patient, coming up with a plan, just like with the physical health, working through that plan and getting back on track, looking at a budget, right? All of this is about understanding that worrying and spending and belaboring and spending so much time beating up on ourselves just creates what? More stress, more anxiety. That's all, right? And how does that help the process long term? It doesn't. So listen, stressed out summer. S.OS, y'all. Let's help ourselves, right? Let's help each other get through this time. This is a very unusual summer, right? We don't know what to do with ourselves. But the one thing we do know is we got to take care of our mental health. We got to take care of our mental health just as much as we take care of our physical health. If not, what's the point? Right? All right. All right, y'all. That's it for me. Unless y'all have any more questions, we're going to wrap it up. All right. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Again, I am Desyree Dixon with Bolton Therapy and Wellness, trauma transformer, here once a month to help you get through whatever it is that y'all have going on, right? I will see y'all again next time. All right. Take care.